Dragon Xmas, Part 2, A Cosmic Christmas Peril. Written by John Beckett and Levi Van Stam. Recorded by John Van Stam. Last Christmas had been stranger than any before, yet it went unnoticed by most. Children rarely saw Santa after all, and this year was no different, save for the faintest flickers of red and green scales vanishing into the night. Now, as the cold dawn of the new year stretched its gray fingers over the Arctic expanse surrounding Santa's workshop, he and his closest elves gathered. Santa's dragonoid form, hulking yet majestic, cast long shadows over the workshop. Their hushed voices echoed across the ice, filled with a single question. How could they return Santa to his old self before next Christmas? Among them sat Alder, the oldest elf any could remember. Half hidden in the workshop's dimmest corner, his ancient eyes gleamed like coals nearly burnt out. His gnarled fingers, long unfit for crafting toys or circuits, trembled with age. Yet his memory held treasures of stories teetering on madness. Amid the elves' uneasy murmuring, Alder's voice slipped in like a whisper from another age.
Ooh, the crafter would know. That old star farter who crafted all contracts. Could cook a rabbit without losing a drop of juice or joy.
The elves fell silent. Santa's ear pricked up, his dragon senses keen. There was something hidden in those words.
Dear Alder, grandfather of grandfather elves, what do you mean? Who is the crafter of all contracts?
With a voice that rattled and cracked like an old branch, Alder spoke of the crafter.
An ancient being of unfathomable wisdom. The stars burn, and the planets turn, and the galaxies churn, all because it is written upon the contracts of the crafter. Said to dwell now only where the cosmos grew thinnest, stretched most thin and softly, wisps of all things is its bed and its solace. Few knew what it looked like. All who gazed upon it lost their minds, and most who wandered to the thinnest realms of the stretched spaces, well, they cease existence before viewing naught but naught. But the crafter is so far from all light that even the stars forgot its name, although they still shine out their duties.
Alder's eyes gleamed, though whether with awe or madness none could tell.
Only the crafter knows the words that set those cosmic contracts a-burning with life and loss. Why, even the oldest stars were but sparks in its forge when the crafter first took to a-crafting.
He leaned in closer, his voice lowering to a rasping hush.
Aye, they say that where it rests lies a darkness. For there's a rumor of a time when the crafter's own laughter turned hollow, ringing back to it across that thin veil, and from it learned fear. Yes, fear that perhaps joy is no match for the vastness of greed. And so it vanished, folding into the near black, until it became a whisper upon the lips of spreading nebulas.
The elves exchanged wary glances, but Alder was lost in his own tale now, his eyes bright with fires of long-buried wonder.
And they say, though I cannot say who told me, nor even if I was told, that the crafter forged these contracts not just for joy, but to keep greed at bay. For as long as the joy-bringers hold to their tasks, the light of creation burns on.
Alder paused, as though listening to something only he could hear, then let out a soft, wheezing chuckle.
So, you see, Santa, that's why you must seek the crafter. Aye, for it knows the ways of the thin realms, the trembling edges where joy and greed wage their endless battle. And if it has any care left for this universe it wove into being, then maybe, just maybe, it will show you the way to renew the fire of joy. But beware, for the crafter, they say, sees no difference between the spark of a star and the spark of a soul.
He slumped back, the spark in his eyes fading, and for a moment it was as if Alder himself were drifting along those thin realms he had described. Santa, still a dragon with scales of ember and jade, climbed into his interstellar sleigh. With a crack of the reins, he hurtled into the yawning dark, not knowing whither he flew, only that he was leaving all light behind. Stars blurred, stretching into pale streaks until finally, he drifted into a region where darkness reigned absolute, a void that seemed to seep into his very eye sockets, as though it aimed to consume even the memory of light. This had to be the realm of the crafter. Wisps of stardust floated like ghostly webs, glimmering with dark hues beyond name or color. Santa felt a chill gnawing at his scales, spreading through them like expanding ice, striking toward his dragon heart. What was this watching darkness, slipping from his sight like half-remembered dreams? With every light year, or dark year here, Santa felt his joy begin to dim, as if the void was swallowing it whole. Memories of laughter and light began to fade. His spirit frayed at the edges. Here, in the thin places of the universe, he felt his very purpose waver, drawn toward oblivion. His mind began to twist under the weight of this endless black. Was it even black? Slipping into a trance as if he were losing himself to an eternal nothingness. But in that final moment, when even the memory of joy seemed lost, a presence stirred. A presence so immense it seemed to fill every inch of space and time. The crafter had sensed him. Santa stood still, his dragon heart pounding as a colossal shifting form materialized before him. A presence woven from starlight and shadow, like threads tangled in the crosswinds of infinite dimensions. The crafter regarded him with something like surprise, its ancient threads tightening towards him in recognition.
Ah, a contractor.
The crafter murmured, its voice a resonant hum in the void.
You bear the weight of joy, a power I never meant to last.
Santa's scales shivered, but he held his ground.
Joy? Never meant to last?
The crafter's weave softened, though not with kindness.
Joy is a fleeting thing. I crafted it to hold the universe together in its youth, a spark to light the dark and guide the threads. But it was always meant to fade, making way for something sturdier.
It paused, a shadow of regret flickering across its form.
By now, I had hoped such a virtue would have emerged, but it seems none has. And so, the end of all joy contracts draws near.
Santa's heart felt as if it might crack.
When? When does it end?
The crafter's voice darkened like distant thunder.
This Christmas, the contracts will expire, and with them all the light they held.
The crafter's words sent a chill through Santa's scales, colder than any Arctic wind, a biting, frosty despair that set to unraveling his dragon form. His scales began to peel away like wisps of stardust, drifting out into the thin, dark threads of reality. He felt himself breaking, dissolving into the void, as if becoming nothing less than a faint memory. But as his last thread began to unwind, a spark, a single soft glimmer of joy, flickered into being, faint yet unbreakable, somewhere in the depths of his heart. Santa saw it, felt it, knew it to be beautiful. It shone within him, lighting the dark with a warmth that seemed to defy the void. And suddenly, he understood. Joy was beautiful precisely because it was fleeting, and yet so full of light and good cheer. The darkest darks appeared in that instant, hilarious beside the glow bursting from his core. He laughed. A deep, hearty sound that rumbled through the thin realms, shaking the very fabric of what little occupied that space. Ho, ho, ho! It reverberated, spreading light across the void, filling it with a warmth and mirth so boundless that even the shadows seemed to dance. Santa laughed with the joy of all that was, all that had ever been, and with such promise of all there could be that the darkness itself trembled and gave way to this brighter future. The crafter recoiled at first, its ancient form flickering as if startled by the sound. For the first time in eons, it felt something old, anew, a spark of joy that reached even the dimmest knots of its being. It gazed upon Santa, who now radiated a light that covered every hidden fold of existence in a golden warmth, and it felt itself revive, as though it had tasted the universe's first breath all over again.
How can this be?
The crafter murmured, awed and bewildered.
Joy, meant to be temporary, yet here it shines, as if it were eternal.
Santa's laughter rang out once more, joyous and resounding.
Because although joy sparks and fades, it grows, it spreads, and lives in the hearts of those who share it. Because of this, it is boundless.
Santa felt the warmth inside him intensify, and with it, a power so ancient and true that he understood it without words. In that moment, Santa became the very embodiment of joy, shifting effortlessly between Dragonoid Santa, Human Santa, and countless other forms. He could now shift into whatever form brought the greatest cheer to whatever world or whatever heart was in most need of it. Even the crafter, ancient and unmovable, felt its heart rekindled by Santa's laugh. With a wave of its vast weave, it renewed the contracts, sending a pulse of light rippling across the realms, reigniting joy in every corner of creation that Christmas. And Santa's laughter filled the universe, echoing through the hearts of all beings mortal and divine, a testament that joy could indeed be eternal, in whatever shape it needed to take. End of Dragon Xmas Part 2. Merry Christmas, and thanks for watching.